First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukah Kadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect Akim, pushes four corners, pushing this truth on the four corners. And truth and sincerity, peace be unto you. This is Luke chapter 7, verse 39. Now when the Pharisees, which had bidden him, Salaki, let me start up. This is Luke chapter 7, verse 37. And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Yahushua sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster of box of ointment. Now, this says a woman, Salaki says, he said, behold, a woman in the city which was a sinner. Now, everybody is a sinner. We've all come short of the glory of God. So we're all sinners. So why is it specifying this woman as a sinner? This woman is because she's sinned a lot more than the average person. The average person is. She, had to been in some very, very wicked sins, and had to been a repeat offender. More so than the average person. She had to been a very, very troubled person. Maybe she was a prostitute. Maybe she committed adultery. Who knows? But this woman significantly had more sins weighed on her than the average person. Read verse 37 again. It says, and behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Yahushua sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, brought an alabaster box of ointment, and stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. Now when the Pharisees which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, this man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that toucheth him, for she is a sinner. Okay, verse 39, it says, now when the Pharisees which had bidden him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, this man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that toucheth him, for she is a sinner. So they're like, man, he's like, man, she don't even know that this is a sinner. You allowing a sinner to touch you. This is basically what a lot of people were looking for, any type of loophole to say that he wasn't the Messiah. And this was just one of many loopholes. And Yahushua answering said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he saith, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor which had two debtors. The one owed 500 pence and the other 50. Okay, so you got two debtors. One owed 500 pence compared to the other guy, and the other 50. Reading on, it says, and when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. So now, in this scenario, Yahushua is saying, okay, you got a creditor has two debtors. One has significantly more debt. The one has less debt. But the creditor still decided to forgive them both. Reading on, it says, and when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me, therefore, which of them will love him the most? Verse 43, Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, thou hast rightly judged. Because accordingly, if you got more debt, you're going to be more likely to be forgiven. And Slaki, if you got more debt, you're going to, and somebody forgives it, you're going to really love that person. My grandma, she was in debt, because she had a car accident and everything, and she wrecked the car. No, Slakia, my cousin wrecked the car that my grandmother was in. And so the creditors, they forgave the debt. And my grandma was ecstatic, because she, was in such, turmoil with the car. Now, had it been, let's say she had owed a debt for like $2.83 to, like let's say Walmart, and they forgave it, she ain't gonna be excited about that. She gonna be more excited about the one that she, that's really a heavy burden for her. And this is the same thing like this, you know. Verse 44, reading on, it says, "And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I entered into thine house. Thou gavest me no water for my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss, but this woman, since the time I came in, hath not ceased to kiss my feet." So you're like, this woman, she ain't stopped kissing my feet. Verse 46, "My head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman hath anointed my feet with ointment. Therefore, Slakia, wherefore I say unto thee, her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little." And verse 48, "And he said unto her, Thy sins are forgiven." So I wanted to say it was her faith, her love. Well, first it was her faith in believing that, he was the Son of God, because you ain't going to kiss the feet of no average person, and cry and weep on their feet to the average person, because this is something that she wasn't doing. This is a woman that was a sinner, and she probably was put in circumstances that pushed her into a very, very sinful lifestyle. And the Most High said, thy sins are forgiven, because she was passionate, with apologizing, and her love for the Most High, through the Most High's Son Yahweh Shai. She kept loving him, and saying we got to do the same thing as well. We got to love Yahweh Shai, but through loving Yahweh Shai, we're also showing how we love Yahweh. And there's plenty of ways that we can show how we love Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai, and one of those is keeping the commandments, following the orders that the elders and apostles have put out forth. And these are just some of the ways that we show how we love the Most High. I'll read verse 49. It says, "And they that sat at meat with him began to say within themselves, Who is this that forgiveth sins also?" So now these guys also right here, they're sinners as well. That's why the parables with the two debtors, the debtor who owed more debt, and in this case the woman is, versus the one who owed little debt, and this is the ones that sitting here bitching and complaining, saying, "Who is this guy? And what make you so special? And how you don't know this woman is a sinner?" These are the guys with not as much debt. Verse 49, "Who is this that forgiveth sins also? And he said to the woman, Thy faith hath saved thee. Go in peace." So now it is, her faith that saved her. So does that mean that simply, just saying that okay, I didn't sin that much, because in this situation, this woman has great sins. She has a lot of sins. And the Most High, through his Son, Yahweh Shai, he granted him permission. He said, "Go thy way. Thy faith have saved thee." And this is just we got to show the same type of mercy as well in order to receive mercy. But also the bigger point of this is that how we got to make sure that we're loving and praising and worshiping, Yahweh Shai, so that we can receive eternal salvation as well, because we got sins, and some of them can be pardoned by this. Also another thing that says charity cover a multitude of sins. And that's just concludes the lesson. On that note, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kadash, Barakatah. Double honors to the elders of GMS, and Shalom.